I was paid $50 to ruin a blind date. I counted the cash 3 times in the passenger seat of a pearl-white Tesla, and the woman driving, Sloane Park hair like glass voice like a verdict, said, "Be late, be rude, spill something if you have to make sure he never wants to try again." I told myself it was just a job, just one night between me and a stack of past due notices. You know what I mean. I'm Riley Carter Sr. at Harbor City State Social Work. Major professional juggler of bills and pride. And that week the word hungry felt less like a mood and more like a residence. Sloane laid it out clean. He's expecting a Kelly. His name is Evan Mercer. He runs Mercer Systems. Here's the reservation at the Wren. Here's the profile I set up. You're perfect for the part. And she tucked the money in my palm like a tip for a show I hadn't rehearsed. I looked him up anyway, because if I'm about to be the villain in a stranger's evening, I want to know his favorite color. Photos of him at ribbon cuttings and a Saturday literacy program, a scholarship fund for first-gen students, him kneeling to talk to kids at eye level, with suit pants dusty, and that quiet smile, the kind that doesn't need an audience. That made it harder, not easier, because it's simple to hurt a jerk, and complicated to hurt a person who looks like the good you used to believe in. I went in late, loud, dressed like a dare, heels that said, "Arrest me for disturbing the peace," and the Wren did that soft, expensive lighting that whispers, "You don't belong here." And he stood up anyway, chair pulled out, voice warm as a winter diner. "Kelly Wright, I'm Evan, thanks for coming." So I did the plan. I ordered the lobster and the fancy wine. I complained about the AC, the playlist, the napkin folds. I reached for my water and, oops, sent it across the white cloth, then watched him apologize to the server and drop to his knees to blot the floor like the mess was his to carry. "You must think I'm a disaster," I said, testing, and he grinned and said, "First dates are weird. We're both just trying to figure out if the other person is a human." "Are you a human, Kelly?" And yeah, I laughed against orders. He asked, "What pulls you?" Not, "What do you do?" And that cut through my act, because the answer is kids, books that build bridges, the social worker who helped my mom when one broken headlight could have broken us, and he listened like time wasn't expensive in his world. Then told me about building software that gave a bakery owner a Saturday, helping a nonprofit track donors for free, because doing the right thing can be selfish too. It feels good. I kept throwing little jabs about suits and rich guys with their names on buildings. He kept catching them without throwing back. And when dessert came, he said, slow and simple, "I'd like to see you again somewhere cheap, somewhere we can talk." And my chest betrayed me, so I said, "I'll think about it." And he walked me outside, paid the cab up front, made sure I had his number, and stood under the streetlight like a scene I wanted to step into. Dawn. Sloane texted. "Lyle, I said he wants another date," she called in. "Half a ring, what did you do wrong? Then, do worse, same rate bonus. If he looks wrecked when you leave, I'll know." Then Evan called with a different idea. "Come to Shoreline Learning Center. Saturday we read with kids, no pressure. You mentioned books. And listen, you can't sabotage children even if you're broke. Especially if you're broke," so I said yes. Shoreline is a cinder block building. The city forgot to repaint, and the neighborhood covered in murals. He wore a faded books, build bridges tee. He introduced me to retired teachers and barbers and college kids who gave their Saturdays like it was a habit. Then he said, "Riley," my real name, I hadn't given it. He somehow saw me anyway. "This is Luna, second grader." Star stickers on her cheeks, and she took my hand like she'd been waiting. "You read with me, and if you want to know if someone's performing or telling the truth, put a shaky word in front of a kid and watch." She stumbled on and I drew a tiny bridge over the syllables. "We'll cross it together." And every time she nailed it, Something lit up behind my ribs. Evan watched like someone grateful to be in the same story, then pressed a little box into my palm, a bracelet with a tiny lighthouse. You're good at guiding, no pressure to wear it. And yeah, that happened. I let him fasten it. And that night, Sloane slid into my coffee shop booth like she paid rent on my choices. Cute program now, end it. She put her phone down, photos of me taking cash, getting in her car, a recording of my yes, you're in a code of ethics program. Imagine the dean hearing this call. Him and hurt him or I hurt you. Your name, your internship, your future. I called Evan, meet me at Seafarer Fountain, 30 minutes please. And he said we'll tackle it together. Okay, and I ran through a wind that felt like judgment. The fountain glowed like a secret. He was already there with worry in his eyes. What's wrong? And I sat, because my knees had opinions. My name isn't Kelly, it's Riley. I took $50 from your ex to ruin our first date. I did the spills and the late and the digs on purpose. I'm sorry, doesn't cover it, but the kids and the ideas and the way I look at you. That's me, that's real. Silence, then he paced. Then he said, how do I know any of it was real? How do I know I'm not just the rich guy you performed for? And I said, because I'm saying this with nothing to gain and everything to lose, because she's threatening my degree and my rent, and I still couldn't keep lying. And then the worst truth, if she hadn't forced my hand tonight, I don't know when I'd have been brave enough to tell you. And he nodded like a door closing. I need time, I can't hear you through the noise, and he walked away. My phone buzzed with a good girl from a blocked number. I deleted it so I wouldn't keep her voice in my ear. Saturday came like a dare. I went to Shoreline anyway. Luna ran in with the hard bridge word we read. We clapped for a boy who finished his first chapter, and Evan came late, stood by the door a full minute, then stacked chairs, and when the room emptied, he asked one question. If I hadn't come, would you still have read with her next week? Yes, even if you never talked to me again. I'm not leaving her mid-bridge, and he nodded, good. I'm not interested in apologies that live in speeches. I'm interested in the kind that take out the trash and show up when it rains. He said, I'm hurt, not because you took the money, but because you took my trust day after day. So here's the only way I try again. Complete honesty surprises a wall between your survival and my help. I won't be used to fix what someone else broke, but I will stand next to you while you fix it. I cried in that hideous hiccup way. He handed me a paper towel like a treaty, and we started over. Starting over didn't look glamorous. Long walks where we told the unflattering truths, me opening my bank app with the red numbers, and not dying from shame, him asking hard questions without pretending to be my savior, me answering without pretending I was fine. His mom, Miriam, retired, teacher eyes like x-rays, met me at his office, tell me about mentors and bus passes, she said. And the HR department, not Evan, called with a part-time job building community partnerships. Real salary tuition support. A bold line that said this employment is not contingent on a personal relationship and does not report to the CEO, which is the kind of sentence that lets trust breathe. 6 months later, the Harbor Scholars Initiative paired students with mentors and microgrants for bus breakdowns and Wi-Fi outages. Shoreline grew. Luna sent me a photo reading to her little brother. We learned to argue without claw marks. He stopped trying to fix things I needed to fix. I stopped punishing him for being someone who could pay for dinner without checking his account first, and then the mayor's office called about taking our literacy model citywide. And I thought it was a prank until I was in a conference room, saying bridges over hard words, and a deputy mayor said, "Why aren't we doing this everywhere?" An envelope arrived with tight handwriting. Sloane. A single page that said, "I was wrong, pain shouldn't be paid forward. I'm getting help, do not respond." And for the first time in months, I felt quiet instead of fury. Evan proposed on the steps of Shoreline, with the sun in his hair, and book boxes at our feet, be my partner in the work, and the ordinary, and the storms, he said. And my yes was a reflex. Luna shrieked. Mr. Alvarez pretended to be offended by public displays and hugged us anyway, and then my phone buzzed with a gossip account headline, "Heir of Mercer Systems engaged to woman who admits." She was paid to ruin their first date, redemption or PR spin. Screenshots from a talk I'd given to interns about ethical cliffs ripped from context. Comments split like a zipper. Evan squeezed my hand. We can post a statement or ignore it, or tell the longer story. Your call, and I realized that after the yes, you don't get a fairy tale, you get choices. What to share, what to protect, how to keep doing the work when strangers vote on your life from their couches. You know what I mean, so here's where I leave it with you. I chose wrong at the start, and then I chose the truth, and it didn't fix everything. It just gave us ground to stand on while we did the fixing. And the fixing looked like showing up when it rains, like turning an apology into a program that keeps kids from falling through cracks the size of whole futures. If someone takes $50 to hurt a stranger and then owns it, changes, builds something that lifts hundreds, do they deserve a second chance? Is forgiveness, bravery, or foolishness? When money and power are in the room, where's the line between accountability and mercy, and who gets to draw it? Tell me what you think. In the comments, argue with me. Tell me your bridge word, the moment you were judged before you were known, or the time you misjudged someone and had to eat that truth. And if this hit home, like, share, subscribe, because somewhere a kid is sounding out a hard word and waiting for someone to say, "We'll cross it together."